This is part of recovery that no one talks about. You cannot find this stuff on Instagram. You cannot find it on Facebook, YouTube. Now, this first thing I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to jump right into it, okay? I'm going to be as honest, complete, open as I possibly can be. This first thing I want to talk about really scared me a lot, especially the first time this happened to me. I really wish someone would have told me about this. Since I had surgery on my left knee, every time I got up to go like take a shower or went to the kitchen to make me something to eat, every time I would, because I was non-weight bearing, I could not put any weight whatsoever on my left leg. So I was walking around with a walker, sometimes crutches, I mainly used a walker. So when I got to the kitchen or taking a shower and I would get back to my room, I would look down, and the first time I did this, literally freaked me out. My leg was blue, purple, not just like this little, it was like barely red, like, how your hands sometimes get to be red, but no, my leg was purple, and it really scared me. So the first time it happened, in my head, I was going like, oh crap, this is bad. I must be having a blood clot. This has never happened before, especially just right after surgery. Now, this is actually called dependent edema, and it happens because, how can I put this? It happens because since you're non-weight bearing, usually the muscles in your leg, your calf muscles mainly, they work like a pump and pump the blood back up to your heart, because your blood is going to be pulling in your foot because of, gravity is what's around us right now. So since your weight can't put any weight on your foot, that pumping action doesn't really happen. So when I got back to the room, I had to go through, like the whole Google and the Reddit subreddits, because there's a Reddit for everything. So, and luckily I was on meniscus injuries subreddit. That is, if you're going to have a surgery, look up your surgery on Reddit, because there's a Reddit for anything. I had no idea there's going to be a Reddit for meniscus injuries, for knee injuries, and sure enough, there's a Reddit for both of those. So of course, I started joining, read everything I could. Lo and behold, there's a Reddit for absolutely everything. So jump on that, research what you have to, and one of the Reddit posts was talking about this exact very thing. So I started reading about it. They talked about this was a complete normal, this was part of healing, and it started making me feel better. And I kept reading on. For me, it happened pretty quickly. When I stood up, went to the shower, came back, it was completely purple. So just a few minutes of standing up, my leg was already starting to turn the colors. But now, whenever I sat down or lay down on the bed, the color came back, very quickly. It was like 30 seconds, and my leg is back to normal color. And this is how it is supposed to be. Now, I still did not like this one bit, because this has never, ever happened to me. So I made sure that I recorded it. That way, so I went to the doctor the next following week was my checkup. When I went to the doctor, I showed him the video, and I was like, this is scary. And the doctor confirmed, like, this is absolutely normal. Just, he asked me about how long did it take for it to turn the color to return when I sat down or lay down. And I had another video showing him like how fast the color went. And he was like, oh, that's nothing. That's just part of healing. So I'm like, I wish you would have told me that. That way it wouldn't freak me out. I am not a doctor, okay? This is just my experience in what happened to me. And also, I just want to let you guys know, if this happens to you and you start having like severe pain because of lack of blood flow, if you sit down, you lay down, and the color does not return like, pretty quickly, 30 seconds to a minute, go ask your doctor, because this could really be a blood clot. And if you had surgery, you're supposed to be taking those little itty bitty small baby aspirin. So yeah, I was taking those little bitty aspirins a couple times a day. So remember, if your leg turns purple after surgery, you are not alone. And now at least you know what's going on. Now, if you think that's weird, wait till you hear what anesthesia did to my body. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you all about this because I actually made a weird recording at one of those random like 1 a.m. times of the night when you're just like sitting there, you know, trying to go to sleep but you can't because your brain is sitting there just going like crazy. So I made a recording, so I'm just going to play that for you. Hey guys, it's me again. Now, I'm doing this about 1 a.m. because it's really late and I should be getting ready to go to bed. But since, I'm going to be out of work tomorrow, there's no reason for me to like keep well, I do want to keep some semblance of, my schedule, nighttime, daytime, because, yeah, I'm not a morning person, but I don't like to sleep in. So if I stay asleep past 10 o'clock, it feels like I wasted the whole day. But then again, I don't like waking up at, 5:30 in the morning, but I usually do because, I drive a school bus. Anyways, what was in my head right now uh, was I was not going to put this in the video because it was kind of embarrassing. But you guys, if you're going to get this meniscus surgery, you need to know what you get into. You need to know what to expect. And one of these things is talking about defecating, pooping, crapping, hopefully not crapping yourself. But day 2 post-op, I was like, I haven't pooped in 4 days. Last time I pooped was like, maybe a day and a half before surgery. And so, I didn't think about it. Surgery came, went. I still didn't poop the day of the surgery. I didn't poop the next day. And so I finally was like, and I wasn't in pain. It wasn't like my stomach, I was just like, I was just started thinking like, when was the last time I used the restroom? My goodness, 4 days. I mean, normally my normal cycle is like, every other day, sometimes every 3 days on occasion. But usually I go between 2 and 3 days to the bathroom. And I know like my wife is always like 2 to 3 days, but that's my normal. That's how I've always been my whole life. 2 to 3 days, then I take a poop. Um, so yeah, I text my wife, and so she had some colace. I didn't want to do like the laxative to make it like, explosive diarrhea. I just wanted to have something, kind of, stool softener, it'll help it come out. So right at the back of the box, it said, 1 to 3 tablets. So I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do the max. So I took 3 tablets. And I mean, I went and tried to, poop. And after I tried, my stomach started doing the whole gurgle. I was like, oh, it might be happening pretty soon. And it still took that day. I finally did have a bowel movement, but it wasn't like as much as I thought it was going to be. It was more just like, couple inches of turds. Man, this is so embarrassing. So I was like, oh, okay, well, it's moving. So yeah, it's moving. And then the next day, I ate breakfast, and then of course, I started having belly pains. Like, yeah, I need a dangerous fix on the call. So made my way to the toilet, and crap you not, it felt like my whole large intestines just emptied. And it felt good. So yeah. So that's one of the things you have to be looking forward to doing, because I know when you go to anesthesia, when they put you to sleep, it literally puts your body to sleep. Your everything. So you have to like reawaken your gut and things like that. So yeah, that was the 4 days no poop. I'm not going to try to challenge the no poop November. No, absolutely not. So I thought you guys might like that. Maybe I'll add it. Maybe I won't. But it's just one of those 1 o'clock in the morning things you sit here and just think about. And I just had to share it.